guys, it's Kesara, and today I'm going to be doing my review for Crown of Feathers by Nicki Pau Preto. So I loved this book so much. I didn't expect to love this book as much as I ended up loving it because, one, I've never heard of this author before. I don't generally read YA fantasy that much, and every time I pick up YA fantasy, especially ones that I haven't heard a whole lot about, even ones that I have heard a whole lot about, I usually end up being disappointed by them. And I was pretty hyped for this one because this one is featuring phoenixes, and phoenixes are one of my favorite mythical creatures. I love the lore behind phoenixes, and they're not featured enough in books. Like, the last time I read a book featuring a phoenix was Harry Potter, and that was a long time ago. That was one of the first books I ever read that I actually remember reading, and it was the last time I read a book featuring phoenixes. So I was so excited going into this one, but I was also really nervous because I really wanted to love this one. And I absolutely loved it. I loved it so much. We're following three main characters. We have Veronica, who is an orphan traveling with her sister, who is a little bit controlling. We have Sev, who is a soldier from the Empire. His parents were Phoenix Riders in the past, but his parents died during the war, and now he's working for the enemy. And then we're following Tristan, who is a Phoenix Rider apprentice, who is working in kind of a secret society of Phoenix Riders, and he's the son of the commander in that society. So all of these characters' plots intertwined, and I absolutely loved following each and every one of these characters. So how I've started doing my videos, I first talk about characters, then plot, then world building, and then writing style. So first, we're gonna talk about characters. I absolutely loved every single one of these characters. And there are some unlikable characters in here, but I loved the way that they were written, because even though they were unlikable, you could still understand their motivations for doing what they're doing, and you can still root for them even though they are at odds with the main characters that you really love and root for even more than the unlikable characters. So I absolutely love that aspect of this one. There's also a great family dynamic aspect in here, because we have Tristan and his father, and we have Veronica and her sister Val. Those two relationships are also very interesting to see, and see how those relationships are. They were very good. I also like some of the budding romantic relationships. I won't say between who, because some of it might be a little bit surprising, but I really liked where that was going. So yes, the characters in here are fantastic. There was not a single one that I didn't like. So then we talk about plot, and the plot at the beginning was a little slow. I will admit that. So we start out with Veronica and her sister Val, and they found phoenix eggs in which they're trying to hatch. And that's really all I want to say about the plot, because I really enjoyed not knowing anything about the plot going into, and I've seen people talk about the plot. I was actually kind of spoiled because the flap gives away a little bit, and I was kind of sad about what it gives away in that. So if you haven't read like the summary of this book, I don't recommend reading it ahead of time. I recommend reading like at least starting and reading the first few chapters before reading the summary, because some things happen even in the very beginning that you don't want to be spoiled for in this one. And I just really enjoyed it. I loved how all the different plot lines came together in different ways at different points in the story. So it was really well done, and I really loved the plot of this one. And then we have world building. World building, I think, is what made this book for me, because the world building is built the way an adult fantasy book generally builds their world building. I feel like most YA don't go as in depth as this one did, and it goes into the history and the politics, and all of that is still very much relevant to the main plot of the story. So it was intertwined in the story very well. I do think the beginning of the story was a little bit slow because of the world building, and because it had flashbacks and had these historical things that we had to learn. But at the same time, I absolutely loved it because of all of that. And last but not least, I want to talk about the writing. I enjoyed the writing so much. There's not one part of this book I was bored in, because the writing was really good. It wasn't overly flowery or anything like that. It worked really well for the way this book was. So obviously, I really loved this book. I ended up giving it 5 stars. I hadn't planned to give it 5 stars for like the first half, but like getting to the end, there was no other rating that I could have given it, because I just loved it so much. This is probably one of my new favorite books. So I definitely recommend this one, especially if you want to get into high fantasy or something like that. This is a great young adult high fantasy that is very accessible. So highly recommend it. Oh, also really quick, if you've read this book and you liked it, or if you had different opinions on it, please let me know down in the comments because I would love to discuss it with you guys. I hope that you found this helpful. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. I post videos every Monday, Tuesday, Friday, and Saturday, so consider subscribing. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up to support my channel. All social media links are in the description down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.